In December 2021, Michael Carrick walked away from Manchester United unbeaten. 3 games, no permanent job, no grand project, no press conference about philosophy. Just 1 win away at Villarreal, 1 draw away at Chelsea, and 1 comeback victory over Arsenal at Old Trafford. Then he left. And most people moved on like nothing had happened. To them, Carrick was just a temporary solution, a familiar face. A former United midfielder keeping the seat warm until the real manager arrived. But Cristiano Ronaldo saw something different. After Carrick's short spell ended, Ronaldo posted a message that almost everyone treated like a polite goodbye. He called Carrick a class act as a player, and said he could become a great coach as well. At the time, it sounded generous. Years later, it sounds like a warning, because maybe Ronaldo was not just praising a former teammate. Maybe he had already seen what Manchester United missed. Carrick did not look like the loudest man in the room. He did not sell himself like a tactical revolutionary. He did not turn football into a slogan. But in a club drowning in noise, Carrick understood the quietest truth. Sometimes the best coach is not the man with the biggest philosophy. Sometimes it is the man who sees the players clearly, and that is where this story begins. Not with a trophy, not with a headline, but with a 3-game spell that looked small at the time, and now feels impossible to ignore. The prophecy came from the player people thought only cared about himself. Ronaldo had every reason to make Carrick's interim spell difficult. He was 36 years old. He had returned to Manchester United with the pressure of a savior. The club was unstable. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had just been sacked. The dressing room was under the microscope. And then, in Carrick's second Premier League match as caretaker, Ronaldo did not start against Chelsea. That could have become a storm. But it did not. United went to Stamford Bridge on November 28, 2021, and drew 1-1 against Thomas Tuchel's Chelsea. Jadon Sancho scored for United. Ronaldo came on in the second half. There was no public explosion, no rebellion, no circus. That mattered, because with Ronaldo, respect was never automatic. He respected authority when he believed there was competence behind it. And Carrick had something many young coaches pretend to have, but never really show: clarity. His first game was away to Villarreal in the Champions League on November 23, 2021. United were tense. The season felt like it was slipping, and then Carrick made the changes that shifted the match. Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford came on. United found more energy. Ronaldo scored late. Jadon Sancho finished it. United won 2-0 and reached the Champions League knockout stage. That was not a revolution. It was something simpler. Carrick read the moment, and Ronaldo noticed. The world saw a caretaker. Ronaldo saw a coach. To understand why Carrick could coach, you have to understand how Carrick played. He was never built like the modern highlight machine. He was not a midfielder who dominated YouTube compilations with step-overs and chaos. He did not need to scream to control a match. He did not need to fly into tackles to prove he was defending. Carrick's gift was quieter. He saw danger before it became danger. He passed before pressure arrived. He controlled tempo without making the game look like it belonged to him. At Manchester United, he played 464 games. He won 5 Premier League titles, the Champions League, the Europa League, the FA Cup, 2 League Cups, and the Club World Cup. But even that trophy list does not fully explain him. Carrick was a system stabilizer. Put him next to stars, and he gave them balance. Put him behind attackers, and he gave them service. Put him in a chaotic match, and he gave it rhythm. That is why his transition into coaching made sense. He had spent his playing career solving problems before the camera noticed them. And when he became United's caretaker in 2021, he did the same thing. Against Villarreal, he did not chase entertainment. He managed the risk. Against Chelsea, he did not chase ego. He managed the space. Against Arsenal, he did not collapse after weird chaos and pressure. He trusted the players to fight back. On December 2nd, 2021, United beat Arsenal 3-2 at Old Trafford. Bruno Fernandes scored. Ronaldo scored twice. Carrick's final act as caretaker was not just a win, it was a message. This quiet midfielder could survive pressure, and he could make big players believe. But football misunderstood Carrick because football often misunderstands quiet intelligence. People thought the question was whether Carrick had enough charisma, but the real question was whether he could improve players. People thought he lacked a big identity. But the real question was whether his teams could recognize the right solution at the right time. And that is why Middlesbrough became important. On October 24th, 2022, Carrick was appointed head coach of Middlesbrough. This was not Manchester United. This was not a glamour job. There were no global stars to hide behind, no Old Trafford mythology, no Ronaldo rescue act, just a championship club in trouble. When Carrick arrived, Middlesbrough were near the bottom end of the table. The mood was heavy, promotion felt distant. The season looked like survival first, ambition second. Then the team changed, not overnight into perfection, but into something recognizable. They played with more courage, they attacked with more structure, they looked coached, and the clearest symbol was Chuba Akpom. Before Carrick, Akpom was a talented forward whose career still felt unfinished. Under Carrick, he exploded. In the 2022-23 season, he scored 29 goals in all competitions for Middlesbrough. That was not random. Carrick found a role that unlocked him. He did not just demand more. He created conditions where more became possible. That is coaching, not slogans, not vibes, not pretending every player fits the same system. Real coaching is taking what is there and making it breathe. And this is what Ronaldo may have felt in 2021. Carrick did not need to dominate the room. He needed to understand the room. The truth about Carrick is not that he is already a guaranteed great manager. That would be too easy. His Middlesbrough story had pain too. After the dramatic rise of 2022-23, Boro reached the championship playoffs, but lost to Coventry City in the semi-finals. The Premier League dream disappeared right at the edge. In later seasons, the pressure became different. Once people see promise, they demand proof. Once a young coach raises expectations, patience disappears faster. That is football. It builds you up for solving one problem, then judges you for not solving the next one immediately. But even in that, the deeper truth remains. Carrick's value was never about looking like a genius. It was about refusing to make football more complicated than it needed to be. Modern football is obsessed with the manager as the star, the system, the brand, the press conference, the ideology, the promise of a process nobody can question for 3 years. Carrick represents something else. A coach who listens before he speaks. A coach who adapts before he blames. A coach who remembers that players are not pieces on a tactics board. They are human beings under pressure, carrying form, fear, confidence, memory, and doubt. That is what Manchester United kept missing. The club spent years chasing the next great idea, while one of its own had quietly shown the simplest one. Know your players, protect their strengths, hide their weaknesses. Give them a structure they can believe in. Ronaldo did not need 5 years of evidence to see it. He saw it in 3 games. So maybe Ronaldo's message was never just a farewell. Maybe it was one elite football brain recognizing another. Ronaldo knew what a serious dressing room felt like. He had worked under Sir Alex Ferguson, Carlo Ancelotti, Jose Mourinho, Zinedine Zidane, and more. He knew the difference between noise and authority. And when he played under Carrick, even briefly, he seemed to understand something most fans missed. Carrick had calm. Not weakness, not softness, calm, the kind of calm that lets a team breathe when the badge feels too heavy. That is why this story matters, because Michael Carrick was never just an interim coach. He was a test Manchester United barely understood. A quiet reminder that leadership does not always arrive shouting. Sometimes it arrives in a tracksuit, says very little, makes the right changes, and leaves before the world realizes what it just saw. Ronaldo was right about Carrick. Not because Carrick has completed the journey, but because the signs were always there. The world saw a caretaker, Ronaldo saw a coach, and football may still be catching up. So, here is the real question. Did Manchester United ignore Carrick because he was not ready, or because he made leadership look too simple? And if you want the next story, watch how another football legend saw the truth years before everyone else finally admitted it.